Hello guys, my name is Gavin, and this will be a tutorial on how to use interactive icons and more than one object within a script. I've done each of these individually before as in the tutorials, but this will be a combination of the two. And I'm just going to get started. To start off, I'm just going to right click on this camera and hit X delete, and then right click on this lamp and hit X delete. Let's then right click on this cube in the middle and hit X delete. Hit 7 to go in the top view and do spacebar and then add a camera like this. I'll drag it up like that. Hit 0 to go in the camera view. Let's do spacebar and then add text. Drag it over like this. Now I'm going to hit Shift and D to copy it so we have two text objects. Alright, on this panel over here, let's right click on the first one. I'm just going to rename it as icon. Right click on the second one, and I'll name this as just say, let's say scroll. Scroll like that, then icon like that. Alright? With this first one selected, let's go into edit mode or hit the tab key. And I'm just going to type, let's say add, like that last time, and hit Control and C and convert it to a mesh. Right click on this one, hit tab to go into edit mode. Actually, let's leave this as blank for now. I'll just undo that. So this one we're not going to convert to a mesh. Remember that? All right. Next, let's go from defaults to game logic to Blender render to Blender game. Hit 0. And on this one right here, this add button, let's drag this in. And on our physics tab, let's click on collision bounds and change it to convex hull, like that. All right. Next, what we're going to do is on this add button, let's add a game property. I'll just call it number and make sure it's an integer. So integer and number. Okay, and on our icon, let's add a sensor always. Add a mouse sensor. I'll name this to mouse over. That's click tap. Let's make it to mouse over just this button. Let's do add sensor and let's do what are we gonna do? Oh, mouse. Name it as click and click tap right here. Alright, let's then add a controller in Python and connect these. Okay, now that we got that set up, let's add a template. So template Python, game logic simple, and drag this out and delete the portion that I've highlighted. And hit Control and scroll up on your mouse to make your text larger. I'm going to rename this as script.py and add that right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is have it that whenever we hover our mouse over this add button and click it, it's going to add to this number variable, and it's going to display that number variable on this text object. What we need to do first is get the scene. So scene is going to equal bg.logic.get current scene, like that. Then after that, let me just hit backspace a couple of times. Once we have that in there, what we need to do is get the scroll into our script. So it says scroll is going to equal scene.objects scroll. Now that I think about it, that was kind of a weird name to name it, but okay. Alright, let's then get our two sensors into our script. So let's have mouse over is going to equal content sensors mouse over. Let's have click is going to equal content sensors click. Like that. What we're now going to do is have if mouse over dot positive. So if we're hovering our mouse over the add button, what we're going to do is have own.color is going to equal 1, 0, 0, true, like that. And if we click it, so if click.positive, so if we hover the mouse over and we click, we want that number property to add by 1, so own number is going to plus equal 1, like that. Alright, let's then have an else statement, so this else is lined up with the if statement, and let's have, if we're not hovering over it, own.color is going to equal, let's say 0.8, 0.8, 0.8, true, like that. Alright, now the last thing we want to do is display the number variable onto our scroll. What we're going to do is have scroll.text is going to equal a string of own number. So what we should see now when we hit play is that it's going to display 0. And that's what we want. I'm actually going to drag this down so you guys can see the script though. But as you notice, the mouse wasn't visible. But at the top of our script, let's make the mouse visible by doing bg.render.show mouse and then 1. Alright? So I'm just going to go over the script one more time. So after we define the scene, we got the scroll object into our script and defined the two sensors, the mouse over and the click. If we hovered our mouse over the button's going to turn red. If we click that button, the number is going to add by 1, and if we're not hovering over that mouse, it's going to turn white. At the very end, it's displaying whatever the number variable is. Alright, so if we hit P now, we can see if I hover over this. Actually, let me test something else. Oh, that's weird. Oh well. I'll hit play. You can see I can hover. Actually, I think I figured out what the problem was. Oh yeah, take off tap for the mouse over sensor. That's what's making it problematic. So we can hover over this and click a couple times, and it will add to that number variable. And as you can see, it's going to do 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way up to whatever pretty much it's going to. Alright guys, that's how you display text, or that's how you use multiple objects in one script to display numbers like that, I guess. Alright guys, thanks for watching.